this isn't that bad, but at a certain level it is. When you meet someone for the first time, and same thing, after 10 minutes of talking to you, they're telling you that you're literally the best person, the smartest person,
God, I hate that.
God's gift to the world person that they've ever met.
You're a Ferrari, and you're like, I don't even know you.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to On Air. We're so excited to be here. After a brief hiatus.
A brief hiatus.
We didn't mean to. We were just developing a new course and figuring out our whole community group thing. And it's really hard in product development to also do things like this. I don't know why. We need to just get better at it. But
Well, we had a lot going on.
yeah.
When you're trying to like put out new products, new services, new everything, sometimes this kind of stuff gets put on the back burner, but no more.
No more.
None of that.
New leaf.
New leaf.
Every time my alarm goes off before 7 a.m., Anthony goes, new leaf?
Oh,
Because I always am like,
no.
tomorrow I'm going to turn over a new leaf. Even though today I got up at 6 a.m., so I don't know what he's talking about. But
He's like, how many leaves have you turned at this point?
in his defense, I love to. It's not even that I'm like, oh, I'm for sure going to get up at this time and I don't. I just like love to set an alarm early and then I don't actually have to get up for like an hour because I like the space.
You like having a slow wake up. You're laying in bed.
Yeah. But then I also am always like, tomorrow, what time are you getting up? He's like, I get 6. I'm like, me too. And I do that all the time, no matter what. No matter what he says, I'm always like, me too. And he's like, okay. And then half the time he's already left for work by the time I get out of bed.
What time does he leave for work?
Like 7:30. But I don't know. Like half the time I like working late, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get up early.
I think that's
So I don't know why I'm trying to do all this stuff.
perks of having your own business. Like, if you're a night person, don't try and force yourself to be something that you're not.
I'm always like, we're like ships passing in the night. Because sometimes he'll get up for work he'll leave for work before I get up.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'll get home, and then I'll get home, and he's like already gone to jujitsu or vice versa or something. And then, yeah. Anyways.
And you're like, see you on the weekend.
See you on the weekend.
Yeah.
And he goes to bed, but I don't go to bed yet. Not always, but
It happens, I guess.
yeah, his schedule's just lame, and I don't want to do it.
You guys are on different
That's not
schedules.
true.
Nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. There you go. I do wish I was a morning person, though, sometimes. Anyways, we're back. So excited. So happy to be here. A little rusty.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Just kidding.
Well, today, we do have a topic in mind.
Absolutely.
Based off of, our experiences and also based off of the new product, I guess you can call it a product. The new thing that we just launched, which is a community.
Mm-hmm.
It's an exclusive club that offers support to bookkeepers. They can get their questions answered. We're dropping new content, new resources, new video lessons every week. And there's like challenges in there. Anyways, we've been working on this whole community thing. And we kind of started it because it's what we wish we had when we first started. Like we looked for a mentor type relationship.
Sorry, there's just a dog.
Sorry,
crying, but it's okay.
I'm
Probably can't hear
babysitting my parents' dog, and she is outside of our filming room squealing like a little piggy. Well, she's crying, but anyways, hopefully you guys can't hear it. But
It's not that loud.
yeah, so we kind of just wanted to talk a bit about mentorship.
Yeah, it's kind of a place where, you can read the textbooks and do the problems, and obviously like the fundamentals is so important of learning bookkeeping, accounting, all this stuff. But it's crazy when you go to start your own business and I have to work with clients and do marketing and apply what you've learned to this specific situation that never would have showed up in a textbook ever because they're not actually really following the rules perfectly. And you thought, you know what I mean? Like,
And
all
like,
those
no
things.
one does. Like, if everyone like does everything perfectly and follows the rules and there's never any like weird exceptions, then I guess the textbook will help. But 99.9% of businesses don't operate like that.
Yeah, and a lot of times businesses take a lot more into account than just like straight numbers, which I actually feel like the CPA program is really good at incorporating, but it's kind of being like, okay, here's the numbers factor, but here's the factor of like the people, the personalities, the management team, the goals, the like there's so many other factors to consider
The
when
skill level, capacity level for offering support for admin stuff.
Yeah, when helping clients or when just trying to like set up your own business in a way that makes sense. I don't know, like it's like anything. The first time you do it, you're like, wow, what am I doing? And then you're like, oh, shouldn't have done it that way. Whatever. So it's just kind of what we were searching for when we first started, which wasn't like, what's the journal entry for this? It was more like, hey, like what's kind of like some options for pricing when someone doesn't have a huge budget, but I really want to help them, but they're growing and they're gonna have and they're trying to get a financing and they probably can, but they don't have it yet. Like,
yeah,
it's just a random thing that actually happened, but it's just like those types of things that sometimes it's hard to apply. What's the word?
The theory
to the real world. So this is a place where it's kind of like taking that next step where it's like specific questions, specific walkthroughs, resources, content, tools, templates based off like what the members are actually going through. Yeah. Because also I feel like I was getting a lot of those questions in like our inbox and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to reply, but there's only so much time in the day.
Yeah. And also
so I was like, I didn't reply.
Yeah. There's only so much we can do as far as like support for random things that are like outside the scope of the course that was purchased.
Yeah, totally. And then but I like want to.
Yeah, of course. We want to help them because we're like, wow, we've been in your shoes or we've been like searching for these answers and haven't been able to find really adequate guidance.
Yeah, but sometimes it's also hard to like build, because then you're like, what do I build a whole course around this and then give it, or like do I just build one resource, or like,
it doesn't really fit in like a typical course structure.
No, exactly. Or you're like, oh my god, this is actually such a good question, I bet a lot more people would benefit from this, but like how do you share it with them or like tell them about it, or
how do you like share your response with everyone?
So we figured a community would be the best place. It's also so fun to like see, I don't know, it's just cool to like get to know people and see them grow in their businesses and be able to help them.
And like see what people are actually needing. Because like we're kind of guessing. I mean, we're kind of asking when we're creating our courses. We're kind of going off of our own experiences, but that's only our experiences. Like I'm sure other people are going through things like completely differently. So it's nice to like hear everyone's story and get everyone else's perspective and see what other people are needing and how we can help them.
Yeah. What level or what place they're at, and
what place they're at, what kind of clients they have, what kind of issues they've run into.
And some of the stuff is actually like, some of the stuff we're just like, oh, we could do like a 10-minute video just like sharing our screen essentially and solve this problem.
Yeah.
Because we've done it before.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you've never seen it before, you're like, oh my gosh, like what? Yeah. Anyway, so that's the idea. That's what the community's about, which we've kind of been building for the last bit. New resources we're trying to drop every week. And I mean, it's always kind of been our goal to like create this community of like-minded bookkeepers and people to support each other. And I think that straight up just comes from us being like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And being like, oh my gosh, I wish I had someone I could just be like, hey, what would you do? And not that those people don't exist, but I don't know. It's also hard when you're like, you don't want to bug people either. Like I definitely know people who have started businesses and done similar stuff, but sometimes you're like, okay, is this a dumb question? Is this annoying? Are they too busy? Like all those feelings too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like in the group, it's going to be like, we're encouraging collaboration. So we want members to be like bouncing ideas off of each other as well as us answering. So you're not just getting one perspective either.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Is super beneficial, I think.
Yeah. And I think for anyone who's watching this, who like, if you're not a bookkeeper, finding a group like that is so awesome. It's so nice to have other people who are like, oh, that happened to me. Or I don't know. I kind of felt that way when I was working during COVID, where I was just like, when I was alone, everything just felt so terrible. And then as soon as I had another person to like bounce it off of, they were like, I don't know. It just felt like everything was like, oh, okay, maybe it's not that big a deal.
We've talked about when we like first started our business, how difficult it would have been doing it on our own.
I would have quit.
Like, it would have been so
I would have never
much
done it.
harder.
There's so many times where I'm like, I would have quit. 100.
We're just like bouncing
sounds bad.
ideas off each other. Like, just that extra sanity check relieves so much stress.
Yeah, you're like, am I crazy?
Am I crazy? Do you have any ideas? Does this make sense? Should I? Is this right? I don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we kind of wanted to, well, we want to help people build businesses and lives that they love. Like, we've talked about that a lot on the podcast on how we came from, you know, work experiences that didn't feel right and that whatever. And so there's only so much we can do in a course.
Yeah, because you can't dive into every single possible scenario in a course. No one would watch it. They'd be like, this is so overwhelming or boring.
Help people build their dream lives and businesses in a 2-hour course. Like, we just can't. It's a good foundation.
Yeah.
And it's really good information. And if you're not looking to build this like dream business or whatever, it's still super great. We've had a ton of amazing feedback, but for the people who are really eager to like build these super efficient, profitable dream businesses and dream lives, the community is the answer.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, so this whole experience has brought up.
I'll just say that's why we haven't filmed the podcast.
So
when it goes on a
if you
full
haven't
tangent
heard from us,
because we're in the community.
You know why?
We're in the group. No, I'm just
We've
kidding.
been working really hard to launch this and kind of just like plan out. It sounds simple when you just say it, but when you actually like drill into all of the different aspects, there's a lot of moving parts.
Oh yeah, totally.
So, anyways, that's what we've been doing.
If anything, that's what we've learned about everything the past like year.
That's literally everything. We're like, literally, it'll take an hour. It takes us like a day.
Also, the thing is, when someone's good at something, they make it look easy. So every example you look at, you're like, oh, that seems pretty easy. And then you go to do it and you're like, yeah, it's not like impossible, but like that definitely took me a week.
Yeah.
And I thought it would take like 5 minutes, but
yeah. So, A, that's why you haven't heard from us. B, this has brought up the whole topic of mentorship because we can probably see that in our future, but it's made us reflect on, you know, business mentors from our past.
Yes.
And kind of, I guess, like, we've had some red flags and some green flags with some business. Like, we've not, how do I say this? We've not jived with everyone who's tried to give us advice.
Well, we definitely have had some awesome experiences with people who've helped us so much.
Yeah.
I think specifically an old boss I used to work for who has like kind of a similar business has been so helpful, like sent me tons of like information, templates, how he's done it, gone for coffee with me, listened to me talk for like literally hours and been like, yeah, just that's not like basically a sanity check where he's like, you're not crazy. That's happened to me. This is what I do. And just like, it just makes you feel normal. Or other people in my life who are just like always there to like connect you with a person they might know who could help you. Or just like, there's a few people that we just like, I'll just randomly see at a coffee shop and they're like, what are you up to? And I like bring it up and they're like, oh, have you done this? Have you tried this? Do you know this person? And I'm just like, this $5 coffee was worth hundreds of dollars because I just got so much good, like free advice.
What do you think the common denominator with those good mentors was?
I think that they actually care about me and want me to succeed. Or they're like, the only thing they have in it is being like, I want to help you genuinely. Yeah. And I think the people who haven't done that have had some sort of, like on the opposite side, it's always felt like there's some underlying thing they're wanting from it, more so than like just to see me succeed or see us succeed.
Yeah, there's an ulterior motive.
Yeah, and at first you don't notice it necessarily, but yeah.
I also think those good mentors, they're all like, this is my experience and here are some things that maybe you should look at. Or like, oh, here are some things that I found really important to look at. Or, you know, they're not telling you or pressuring you to do one specific thing.
Yeah, that's true. And most of them don't offer like Like if you're like, oh, I have this situation and I'm struggling with this, then they'll like offer advice, but they're not just like coming up and offering unsolicited advice.
Yeah, and they're also not like, you have to do this, otherwise you will fail and
Okay,
you
yeah.
will get pregnant.
But I
and will
never thought
die.
I'd have to say that.
Okay. I know, but like we've had people be that aggressive towards us.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the good mentors, they're just like, and I also think the good mentors, I don't think they're identifying as mentors necessarily. I don't know how that makes sense, but they're not like, I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
this isn't everyone,
That's so true, actually.
but there is this level of business coaches, business mentors. I say as we're genuinely trying to build something where we would potentially offer this to people.
We're
but,
different.
But there is this like level of it where it's like, that's their job is to be a business mentor and not to say, or a business coach. Now, there are some amazing business coaches out there who are worth their weight in gold. But then there are also people who are like, it's a pretty low barrier to entry, kind of, to be like, I'm a business coach.
They're scam artists.
Okay. Well, I wasn't going to say that, but.
But you were thinking it and I said it.
So I think you just have to be aware that sometimes it's way more that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's like anything. There's good products and bad products in like every industry. So it's just being aware. But yeah.
I definitely think a red flag is when, okay, one thing that actually.
I know what you're going to say.
Do you?
I feel like I do. Go ahead.
Okay. One thing that maybe grinds my gears, just like a tiny little smidgen, is when you meet someone or you're talking to someone for the first time on a specific thing and you've given them maybe 3 sentences worth of information and they're already like pretty firmly telling you what you have to do and what you can't do.
Yeah. And not in a way like, have you thought of this? Or, oh, I've been in that industry and like this type of thing.
What about this? Have you thought about this? Oh, are you going to do this? Not even ask us. Okay, that's another red flag. If they never ask a question, you think that's just like common sense. You would be amazed at the amount of people who don't even ask questions. They just immediately tell you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge red flag. They're not even trying to understand what you're doing.
Or your business or what you've done.
Care.
Or what you've tried or what you... Yeah.
Truly do not give a shit what you're doing. But yeah, when you give people like a teeny tiny little fraction of information and they're speaking to you as if they know more than you do.
Yeah, and like obviously they could know more in like aspects of that industry, but it's like at least just ask me. Like, I don't know, I think we've had people who are like talking at us and they're telling us things that we're like, hey, if you would have just like listened, you would know like we actually did try that, or we are thinking about that, but here's another reason why we're thinking of this other path. Here's why they have pros and cons and like it's not just black and white.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a specific mentor that just basically within 20 minutes, I would say, decided who we were, what our business is, what we're going to do, what we're not going to do. And I don't think I noticed in that moment that she'd made such a aggressive decision, but it was like we could never go back. We could never be like,
hey, so all that stuff, yeah, we actually decided to do this because XYZ, these are our reasons, this is whatever. It was like, well, this is what I chose for you, so that's your only option.
And she'd phrase like, well, this is what you said you were doing. It's like, yeah, and we were
It's called a pivot.
We were 17 minutes into our business. Like, we don't know. We're literally just, yeah. So I think things like that where they just like have this idea of what you are
without asking any information.
Yeah,
without
and like
trying to understand what you are.
We're CPAs, so we're accountants. And so she's just like, you're an accountant. And we're like, yeah, but the whole point we're starting our own business is because we don't want to do the traditional accounting work or job.
Mm-hmm.
But like, she could not understand that.
Yeah.
And every single thing always came back to like doing consulting work or doing like traditional accounting, which is like so fine, but like that's not the type of business we're trying to start. I'm like, I wish I never even told you that we were CPAs because you're literally creating a whole business for us that isn't.
I wish I never told you anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just you know, if you meet someone and they're not asking you questions and they're immediately telling you what to do with knowing limited facts, a run for the hills.
Yeah.
It's
And
it's a huge red flag.
another thing is like, can they take themselves and their experience like out of the equation?
Yeah.
Almost. They can use their experience to guide you, but some people feel like they're like, well, I did it this way, so that's the only way
Or
to do it.
even like, that didn't work for me, so you can't do it. It's like, okay, well, I would love to know why it didn't work for you, because then we can see if like those same issues will apply to my situation.
Mm-hmm. Or in this lady's case, that didn't work for me. I quit that business. You should do it.
You should do it because that's the only thing I know.
Yeah, this person had like a consulting company and basically was like, oh, I couldn't find clients for it in like this region. We're like, okay, like you guys should do a consulting company
in this region. And we're like, okay.
We're like, didn't you just say there isn't enough?
The math ain't
Also, which might not be
mathin'.
true. Like, who knows? But okay, this is what I thought you were gonna say.
Oh, do I have another pet peeve?
I don't know, but this
Oops.
one, this isn't that bad, but at a certain level, it is. When you meet someone for the first time, and same thing after 10 minutes of talking to you, they're telling you that you're literally the best person, the smartest person,
God, I hate that.
God's gift to the world person that they've ever met.
You're a Ferrari, and you're like, I don't even know you.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
It feels like that's one thing that
Oh my God, I hate that
these
too.
people
You're
have
right.
in common too, where they're just like telling you you're so amazing. Your business is so amazing. What you do is so amazing. The value you provide to people is so amazing. No one's ever done anything like this before. And as entrepreneurs starting a business, that feels fucking good. You're like,
yeah.
Really? Stop. You think I'm great? Oh my gosh. Say more. Not. But it's like,
But
it's
then
like a weird way of them
sinking their claws into you, or like somehow making, like, I think people almost think that when you give someone a compliment, now like you're valued more in their eyes or something. I don't know. But them saying they see so much value in you without even knowing you, they probably don't even know your fucking last name. It's like, you're full of shit. What do you want from me? Or
your business name.
But you don't even know my business name. You actually don't even know literally one thing about me.
Yeah.
Other than the like 3 words that I said before you interrupted me.
Or like the 20-minute conversation. Yeah.
Or yeah, but it's like, it just feels like the person is full of shit and actually knows nothing. Because any sane person would be like, well, A, either ask questions, or B, be like, wow, that sounds really cool. Like, I'd love to know more. I'd love to like be a part of your journey. I would love to watch your journey. Like, I would love to like,
or like see what you provided. This, like, for our example,
Yeah.
we basically told her about a specific client and what we did for them. And it was just like, that's so amazing. You're so amazing. Your business is so amazing. You should have charged them 10 times what you charged. And it's just like,
it's like, you didn't even actually ask what we did.
yeah, like you don't
We just
even
said we did this project,
Yeah.
and you're like, well, you're literally amazing. And you're like, well, you don't even know what project we did. Like, what are you saying? Like, you're lying.
Yeah. Or you didn't even look at it. Like, or at least, I don't know. In my mind, I would have expected if someone was going to tell me I was that great to like be like, oh, can I see like the deliverable you did? Or like, can you walk me through? Anyways,
I would rather you not tell me I'm amazing than tell me I'm amazing and me know that it's a lie.
I think I'd rather
Not
know
that,
I'm
and I don't
amazing.
think they necessarily think that it's a lie.
No.
I think they're just so used to blowing sunshine up everyone's asses to try and get people to like them that they don't even know like what they're saying. Maybe that was rude.
Yeah. And it's not to say you're not amazing. You might be. You might
be
actually be the coolest business, best girl boss, female entrepreneur, consultant,
Yeah.
whatever the words were.
And they might be really nice too, and they might genuinely want to support you. It's just can be a little bit gray sometimes, that type of person, I think.
Because that is also like a weird control tactic. I think I'm thinking of 2 other people too.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a few.
And both those people were like, this is the dream team. This is our, like, so much so where you're like, really? Out of all the people in the world, this is your dream team?
Yeah,
like,
you sure?
I know I'm fine, but in the world,
Yeah.
let's calm down. I know I'm not that good. Like, I'm
also,
fine.
like, what a dream team based on what? Like, I just met you. What are you even saying?
Also, 4 of the people on the team are related to you.
Also, this is your family. Okay. Anyways.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think that is, it could be super awesome. You could have someone that's just like a huge supporter of you, and that's great. Or it could be someone who is just going to tell you what you want to hear and not actually provide real value or real insight.
Another red flag. They're just coming quick now.
I know. All these memories are popping up.
Yeah. And I think anyways. Okay.
No,
You lost it. What was it?
Okay, we were talking about people.
Okay, we'll have another one.
Just like, okay.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Okay.
They try to sell you something right off the hop.
Yeah.
And it's not selling you their mentorship or their coaching services.
It's like, hey,
it's more.
I think you would be a really good candidate for this other thing that I get commissioned for. And you're like, what?
And I think you're a candidate based off nothing I know. That too. Not
Yeah.
necessarily,
But even if they do kind of know you, it's like, why? Like, I don't know. It feels slimy to me. It's like you're supposed to be helping me and
well, it just feels like they're drawing you in a direction where you need that thing that they're selling.
Yeah. And you're like, I didn't actually even need this. You're just trying to like drain me of all my money. What's happening?
Yeah, so that's a little bit weird.
Yeah, that one is an absolute super weird thing. Okay, another red flag is when, this is so funny.
Okay, I'm ready.
No, not this, but like just the fact that all these red flags are now popping into our brains
I
because
know.
now all these memories are coming back. Okay, another red flag is when someone acts like they are your boss and they almost want to like punish you for not taking their advice, which sounds like no one would ever do that. It's been done.
Yeah. And not only not taking their advice, but being successful at something that wasn't their idea.
Yeah, like by going against their advice in whatever way, they now almost want to like punish you or belittle you or make you feel like you made the wrong decision
or
like
it was dumb.
Yeah, they want to instill doubt in you that you like took what they had to say, but you still decided to do something different. Yeah. That is like the biggest red flag of all. It's like, okay, you guys are not a match then, because I don't feel like a business mentor should be.
Well, that's not really the goal of mentorship, is to be like, okay, here's your task list. It's more like, oh, let's work together to think of options, ideas, how this could work. Like, that's what I think of as mentorship.
You're like a guide to help them, but ultimately it is their business.
Yeah.
A mentor should not be making business decisions ever. They can help you in making your own business decisions. They can help you analyze different options.
Yeah.
But to like force, well, at least attempt at forcing a decision on someone is unacceptable.
And I think,
in my opinion,
yeah, it is true that a lot of these things you're saying, like if I hadn't had the experience we'd had, I like would have been sitting here and being like, "Kate, you're just like making things up."
Yeah, like that's
no one
not
does
gonna
that.
happen.
But the mentor that we had, which was part of like a mentorship program, like it wasn't just someone off the streets. It was through like a reputable mentorship program thing for business owners that have been vetted. Okay, so just yes. It wasn't even like, oh, you guys should do, like, based on everything you've told me and all the information I have, I feel like you should do this. And then we were like, no, we're doing this literal opposite thing. And then they're like, well, you're not listening, or like, you know what I mean? It wasn't that. It was like straight up just like us talking for 10 minutes, her talking at us for like 40 minutes, and then sending us an email being like, you will, list of things. And they were crazy.
There were things that I swear we never even discussed, which is the most hilarious part.
Okay, can we just say the one? One was hardware.
Are we
hardware?
Okay.
I was like, you think what we explained to you for our business is us manufacturing hardware?
I don't actually think, because the list said software, hardware, something else. I truly believe she doesn't know what those words are. Otherwise, she would have never said them. Right? Like,
yeah, but she knows what hardware is.
Software or hardware?
Yeah, like build $1 million
app. Am I gonna build a fucking calculator? Like what? Why would I do that?
Anyways, but then was mad at what we actually did.
And she's like, I guess you're not doing hardware. And we're like, huh?
we're not gonna build hardware.
Do you even know, like, you want us to design a physical product and go get it manufactured?
In the fintech industry. Don't forget that, obviously.
After we just explained our business model, somehow, huh? Anyways.
Whatever. That was just the one I had. Yeah.
You really have to use your discernment when people are giving you advice, which
Yeah.
is hard to do when you're brand new. Like, it's quite difficult.
I still find it hard. I feel like...
Especially... Sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Especially when the person giving you the advice sounds so confident.
Oh, yeah. Well, they usually do.
And so authoritative
Mm-hmm.
that you're like, well, this person knows everything, so like I have to listen.
Mm-hmm. I still find that hard. I'm getting better at it, but like I think my natural reaction to people talking to me is like searching for how it's a good idea. Like I'm not very skeptical. I'm getting more skeptical, but like just naturally I'm not skeptical at all. I'm just like, oh my God, great idea. Oh, that's a great idea. Oh, that'd be cool.
Optimistic.
That's a great word for it. So I think the fact that we were both in it, like we would literally go to it was like 3 meetings, nothing. And we're like, we're never okay. But we'd leave and we're just like, I was like, was that weird? Was that? And Arian's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, thank God. Because I was like, am I losing my mind? So it does help to have another person or just someone you trust to like bounce stuff off of. Because I did the same thing. Like I talked to probably like 5 different people.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is what this person's saying. Like, am I just like not being open-minded? Or like, am I? And they were all like, what? No, they did not say that. I'm like, yes, they did.
Yeah.
And then they were like genuinely upset that I didn't do what they said, which everyone is like, this is insane.
It's not what a business mentor was, and it's not what we signed up for, and it's not what we actually agreed on between us and the mentor. So I think when you are about to embark on a mentor-mentee relationship, whatever, it's a really good idea to talk about how each one of you views mentorship and like how you expect it to go. Now, that doesn't always mean that's how it's going to go, because we did have that conversation and the conversation did check the boxes and then reality hit and it was different.
Yeah.
But I still think it's a good idea to kind of both chat about what the expectations are and what the boundaries are.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And just because someone has letters behind their name,
letters
or
don't
has
mean
done a certain thing, like people can spin stories.
Also,
not, like,
you can have the letters at the end of your name, which I guess proves that you were able to pass some tests on like a technical level.
Yeah.
But that doesn't actually mean you are good at business decisions, because business decisions are not what is taught at school. And the letters at the end of your name do not mean you have good critical thinking ability or decision-making abilities.
Yeah, and you can be good at business decisions and not be good at mentoring too.
Yeah, 100%.
All the above. So just, if you're getting like...
Trust your gut.
Trust your gut.
Trust your
And just be a little bit skeptical.
Yeah.
And if someone's telling you that it's going to be the best ever and you're going to make $1 million, not to say you're not, but like, it's kind of like a prerequisite of, not for everyone, but it's kind of a prerequisite of being an entrepreneur that you're like, I'm going to be amazing.
Or like, I have a dream of achieving a high level of success.
You have to have some level of like a dream. You think like, and I'm not going to say delusion because a lot of people actually get to it, but like
a little bit,
the belief in yourself that you can do it.
Yeah.
Which you should.
Absolutely.
But a lot of these mentors will take that because it's an easy thing to like sink their teeth into and just like pump you up, pump your tires. And then you're like, oh my gosh, if I work with them, I'm going to be. Yeah. And they might even kind of believe it. Like, yeah.
Yeah. They'll kind of like pry or like.
And it's not to say that you won't. It's just like, and sometimes mentorship, like even with this person, I was like, well, at the very least, we're feeling good about ourselves after, I guess, kind of, because she like pumped us up
until we went against her advice.
And she was like,
she tried to drag us down. You suck. She's like, you guys are so dumb.
And then I think one more red flag came to mind.
Okay, and then I have another.
Okay, well, my next one is when someone's like, so what's your 5-year strategic plan? In writing, in detail, decide today, never change it.
Yeah, you have to stick to it.
I'm not saying don't plan for the future. Of course you want a plan, you want a goal, you want a place you're trying to get to. But when someone's like, oh, but 2 months ago you said this was what you were going to do next, I know you're like changing your mind. It wasn't like changing our mind aggressively. It was just like, yeah, because we tried it and it didn't work, so we slightly adjusted.
Oh, yeah.
That's not what we thought, or whatever.
This is kind of the same thing, but when their I guess like advice is actually contradicting each other.
Okay,
so being
yeah,
like so being like, you need to focus on a 5-year strategic plan, and then in the next breath saying you need to figure out how you're going to make X amount of money tomorrow short term is contradictory.
Yeah.
You can't say the most important thing is like the long term and then say put your blinders on, the only important thing is tomorrow. So
yeah, anyone who fully contradicts themselves in the same breath, that's usually not a good sign.
Yeah, like really, and sometimes it's hard to even notice they're contradicting themselves in the moment, but then afterwards try and replay the whole conversation and like maybe even write down all of the points that they said, and then maybe you'll see that things aren't really adding up. And I feel like it just shows that they don't really have a strong sense of direction. Like if they're telling you to do contradictory things. I mean, they don't actually know what they're saying. They're just saying buzzwords and random shit.
Yeah, okay, so I have another one.
Okay.
When they tell you a manipulative sales tactic that you can use to get clients and then use the same manipulative sales tactic on you
So
in
funny.
the same meeting. That's a good one.
That one is hard to see.
That one you probably will never actually see, but
that one is hard to see
In real life.
unless it's so blatantly in your face, which it was.
Yeah.
But when someone is telling you to do something that doesn't feel right in your gut, like that's a red flag.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you like using a shady sales tactic and then literally 5 minutes later using that same strategy on us was like pretty obvious. But then also suggesting things that like weren't ethically aligned with our moral compasses, I suppose.
I know. I mean, it's hard because I feel like this was so blatantly insane that.
But if you think of our
it didn't feel insane in the moment.
If you think of our other mentor who very first meeting suggested doing something illegal.
Oh yeah.
Like you don't. And
right.
They say things confidently, and you're like, wait, that's illegal.
Wait, pardon?
Huh?
Okay.
I would go to jail. So maybe no.
You don't go to jail if you pay it back.
That was his advice. Yeah.
Which is true, probably. No, you still could, I guess. Anyways, whatever.
So
that is so true. Oh my gosh, that was insane. I mean, a lot of these people we don't get very far with, so I guess we're pretty good at being like, this is insane. But
when you're new, you might not realize that you're listening to them, and all of a sudden you're like, is this morally right?
Also, it kind of makes you feel, and this I 100% do not believe, but there's this weird part of you that's like, oh, I guess I just have to be like a shady person to get ahead.
Yeah, I just have to be. Also, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have that perception that you need to be like a slimy snake in order to be successful in business. And I, from the bottom of my heart, disagree with that.
Yeah. Because some of the most successful people I know are actually the most generous, honest, kind people. And they would never screw someone over. And if anything, they've been screwed over by their generosity.
Yeah, like I think it's a mixed bag. Like you're going to have some shady people and you're going to have some good people. The same with like any, I guess, like income level in the world.
Yeah.
There's shitty people and there's good people. Like, I don't think that you need to be this slimy salesman in order to be successful. I don't think you need to like stab other people in the back or, you know.
Yeah. And I think I think the problem is that actually to a certain extent does work.
But I think the success that those people have are short term. Like I truly do.
Or,
unless you're building like $1 billion companies and then you have people working under you that's kind of like running the business. But if you're running small to medium sized businesses and you are involved in the operations and you are super shady or slimy, I truly believe that karma will come around and bite you in the ass. And I think your success will be short lived.
Or you just can't sleep at night. Or you're a sociopath, so you can't sleep at night. But still. It always catches up with you.
I think it always catches up with you.
Yeah. I could never. Oh my God.
I could never. So I think what's really important, which
have an aneurysm,
is also like, I think what's important is getting multiple perspectives. But what I will say is that sometimes getting multiple perspectives can feel like you're being dragged in a bajillion different directions, and it can also be stressful because you're kind of running around in circles because everyone's giving you different directions. But if you just kind of take every single perspective with a grain of salt, like you'll not necessarily that you'll like feel which ones are right, but like not any one's person's perspective is like 100% applicable and correct for you, in my opinion.
And I think also just being okay with being like, cool, that's a cool perspective. I'm going to like kind of lean towards that and try it. And then, oh, it's not working the way I thought. So I'm going to slightly like,
I'm going to take a little bit like, from this person's, a little bit from this person's, like this felt right. Like
you're always just like adjusting a little.
Yeah, you're always adjusting a little. You're always keeping your eyes open, but you don't want to be dragged in 100 different directions with every single new person that you talk to.
Which I definitely struggle with.
Oh, me too. Even it is tough when when people are like saying different things and then you're like, well, which way should I go? Oh, maybe I should do this. Maybe should I do that? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it is tough, but if you're having if you're asking people for advice, it is good to have multiple perspectives so that you don't get caught in like a weird situation.
And I think just knowing that like there's 100 different ways to be successful, so do what feels like good for you. Like you don't have to be successful in the exact way someone else was. You can like take their ideas and slightly adjust it for like what works for you and what you want to do in your life.
100%. And I feel like we have learned that in the course of running this business. Or at least I feel like that, I guess, statement has felt more true lately. Is like there's a million ways to get to the same result. There's a million ways to be successful, and there isn't one way. There isn't one recipe. And you know what? But you know what I mean?
I was just thinking about
the secret formula,
the literal quote that this person said to us, this mentor we were kind of referring to, and the quote was, "There's only one way to run a business, and I know it." I was like, then why are you fucking Elon Musk? Like, what do you? Okay,
why are you mentoring us? Like, go fucking do something of value. I'm just kidding. That was weird.
Yeah, that was weird. But that was a literal quote, and not like joking, like 100% serious. There's only one way to run a business correctly, and I know it.
She's like, people tell me all the time, oh, I do things a little differently. Oh, I do things a little differently. And I tell them, no, you don't. There's one way and I know it and you don't. And it's like, huh? Yeah, I don't think there's one way of doing basically anything. Like, I can't think of one thing that there's only one strategy or one way. I'm sure there are. Maybe. I don't know. But either way, if someone's like, this is what I did and this is what worked for me, it doesn't mean that's the only thing that will ever work in that space ever.
No, and can you imagine if we were just like done with people making new, like it's just done?
Yeah, like then human just like what's the point?
And then why do I need a mentor? I'll just Google how people have done this forever.
And I'll just follow the steps and I'll just increase my ad spend and then I'll just make $1 bajillion.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So I think mainly we talked about red flags, unfortunately. Okay, well, I think the reverse of all of those red flags are green flags. When someone asks questions, when someone stays curious, when someone listens to you, when someone wants to help guide you but doesn't want to force things upon you. When someone is not recommending things that are illegal.
When someone says they don't know.
Yes, that is such a green flag.
Yeah. They're not like acting as if they know everything no matter what. They're just like, oh yeah, I don't know.
Because you know what? You can't know everything.
Yeah, how would you know?
So if someone says, you know what, I'm not sure, but let's look into it. Or, oh, I don't actually know that, but why don't I see if I think I know someone who might, so I'll ask them. Like, that is worth so much.
Yeah.
If someone says that to me, I'm like, okay, I can trust you.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than someone who pretends that they know everything and they say everything confidently and they're just like never willing to accept that they don't have the answer. And it's like, it's okay to not have the answer. It's actually really normal. And it doesn't discredit you from being a good mentor.
No. Not at all.
Not at all. Yeah, that's a good one. Are there any other green flags we can think of?
I'm sure they're just not as in our exact.
We just haven't had that many. No, actually,
No.
we have. We've had green flags.
Yeah. They're just maybe not as memorable because they're not as traumatic.
Yeah. You're like, oh, you're just a decent human being. Check.
Yeah, I feel like all the good mentorship people I've had are just felt like I'm having like a conversation with a friend, and then I'm like, oh, cool, I'm gonna try that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, how's that thing going that you tried? And I'm like, oh, it was good, but then I noticed this thing. They're like, oh yeah, okay. One time that happened to me, and blah 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 blah. And you're like, oh, cool. Maybe I'll try that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like so like.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like with the bad people, it's like so intense. It's like you're running a business. What is your 5-year strategic plan and your KPIs?
Yeah.
What are your KPIs right now? Tell me. And I'm like,
Tell me, you don't know them?
fuck out. If you don't know your 5-year strategic plan, you might as well just off yourself.
You might as well just stop right now because you're never going to get anywhere.
I'm like, what? Like, oh.
Yeah.
Who knows where they're going to be? Okay, also, if they say, how much? Okay, is this too specific? I was going to say, okay, no. Also, if their idea of a 5-year plan is saying how much revenue do you want to have in 5 years, and then just divide that by 5, and then divide that by 12 for the months, and then divide that by 4 again for the weeks, and then being like, well, you just have to make this much a week.
What are you going to do to make it next week?
That's
You're like,
not a plan. I'm like, well, there's lots of things I could do to make money, I guess.
To make money tomorrow, but
do I really want to do that?
Yeah. Is that aligned with my business? Should I?
Yeah, so that's also, I mean, it's just not a recommended strategy, but maybe it worked for them. It didn't. Clearly.
I don't think it did. That's why. Anyways,
if you want to know way more specifics on what we're trying to say, but not say too much information about, because we
want to respect, okay, although we've had these experiences, we want to share our actual specific stories, but it feels weird saying these things online, and then we don't want to, we don't want to make the people involved feel uncomfortable that we're retelling these stories.
Yeah. Even though we're not going to say their names, but yeah.
So
we see a bit of a barrier to entry.
We are going to share some of our more personal stories, like personal in our business.
Never know.
In our community. In our community, just so that there's, like you said, a little bit of a barrier to entry to hearing all of these stories, because we're trying to be respectful and mindful of other people's feelings. Just because we didn't jive doesn't mean they're like the worst person, and doesn't mean that you know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, we live in a small town.
Yeah. Well, that too. So we're like, you know what? That feels like an exclusive piece of content.
Yeah. Plus, then it gives us exclusive content. It's amazing.
And I think a lot of people can learn a lot.
Oh, yeah. We're still sharing the lessons, I would say.
Yeah. We're sharing the lessons.
But if you want the juicy deets.
But if you want the juicy details.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us. Hopefully you learned something about mentorship and business coaches, which I hope we also, I hope we didn't scare people from, and I hope did we even say that we think it's actually a great idea and so helpful and awesome?
Maybe we need to just
it's amazing.
Come back to that point. Business mentorship is so awesome.
Yes.
When you have the right fit.
Yes.
And
you're literally,
I think everyone should have one, especially at the beginning. It's just, you want to be so careful and selective over who this person is, because they can really negatively impact your business or positively impact it.
Yeah. 100%.
But like, if we didn't have each other, thank God. But like, if we were doing this alone, I feel like I would need someone. Like, it'd be so hard to like make decisions, especially at the beginning, without any person to be a sounding board.
Yeah. And if you think of how many people we've actually used as sounding boards and as like business mentors and coaches that aren't these people we're talking about, that have been so helpful, because they're taking years off of your like progression, essentially, because they're just like, oh yeah, tried that, spent 6 months on it, don't do that, here's why. And you're like, okay.
Yeah. And it's also great to have these, not saying that it's like a very strict mentor relationship, but having these mentor type peoples in all different industries or like aspects of your business. So like maybe there's someone you talk to who is like a marketing expert, or maybe there's someone you talk to who is like a finance person, or like you have all of these different
Yeah.
mentors, like this whole network, this little community of people who have different skills, because you don't necessarily want someone who's doing the exact same thing as you. Maybe you do, but I don't think that should be the only person you talk to, because then their experience is so narrow, you know?
Yeah. And a lot of times if people aren't specifically in your exact business, they can actually bring a lot of really cool out of the box ideas. Like for us, for example, working in accounting firms and then working in accounting, right? Like it's a very specific thing. So if we then just go to a bunch of accountants, they're all going to have the like lens of accountant.
And the same experience as us. It's like we already have that experience. We
Yeah.
want something.
Now for building an accounting firm and they built an accounting firm, like,
Yeah.
okay.
That's different.
But it's really cool to go talk to someone who's like started a marketing agency and I don't know, does like affiliate marketing stuff, because they have the lens of someone who's done that. And then they bring you ideas that you're like, I've never even heard of this in the accounting world. Because like it's not really a thing they do because it's a different, you know? So you can just like piece together these like ideas that
we should have. Sorry.
feel out of the box.
Again. I got excited.
Go ahead.
I'm so sorry.
Shut the fuck up.
I know. Oh my God. It's a Red Bull. I got so excited. I'm interrupting you more.
It's great. Otherwise, you're just going to sit here silently?
I know.
It's boring.
You're like still talking. I'm like, and then?
Don't forget. Okay, go ahead.
It's a Red Bull. It would be super cool to have interviews with different people in different industries in our community. Don't you think?
Yeah. That'd be really fun.
Who would cool. Like have like an opinion on like the people in our like the bookkeeping businesses in our community.
That'd be really cool because
like a marketing person.
Yeah. Well, like even like someone who's like my friend who specializes in email marketing. It's like that's not like a like it's almost something that every business needs now because it's how you market and grow your business. But then it's like no one mentioned email marketing when we were in school, and no one did it in the accounting firm I worked for because it was like a massive, or maybe they did, but I didn't see it. Yeah. They probably did. I'm sure they had some sort of emails going out, but just like the things like that where you're like, oh yeah, I forgot how that is, and like what should I include and what's important. There's so many things I can think of.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be cool.
Or an IT person,
a
designer. Okay.
Or if like a lot of people in our community have like a certain type of client. Or, like,
that'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Or like what's their biggest struggle with, like what's that client's type's biggest struggle with their books, like.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Yeah. What's important to them. Because sometimes it is annoying if like not annoying, but like when you don't really understand why someone's asking for something or why they are so particular, you're like, oh, they're just annoying. But then if you're like, they explain like,
you're like, oh, this is crucial for running your operation smoothly. Like, I get it now. Okay.
Okay, I guess I can do that. Yeah, that's a great idea. Anyways, thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week talking about all things business, bookkeeping, and I was trying to think of another B word.
Bitches.
No, that's so bad.
Business, bookkeeping, and
okay, no, we don't need we don't need an alliteration. We'll be back next week. Bye.
Bye.